a couple days ago, a report surfaced online from an institutional investor that interviewed both Microsoft and Sony regarding their overall business strategy and their future outlook, specifically detailing the acquisitions, subscriptions, streaming, next gen, all that good stuff from both companies. Now this video, we're going to be focusing strictly on the Xbox side of things, and there's some really interesting information here for fans of the Xbox platform, specifically how Microsoft wants or is aiming for a big AAA game, or at least one quality game for every single quarter going forward. So I figured I'd talk a little bit about this and see what comes out of it. What's going on, guys? Randall Thor 19, the man with the million, back again with another video. And you know what, if you enjoyed this video by the end, make sure to hit that like button, and if you're new here, subscribe. I would greatly appreciate that. Anyways, so this report is given to us by Z-Huge, an analyst in the video game industry. It's not his report, it was a report that he had from somebody else, but he shared it on Reset Era. Both Microsoft and Sony sat down with this investor. Obviously, you know, Microsoft and Sony are always looking for people to give them money, invest in the companies and stuff. And well, Microsoft detailed their plans for Xbox going into the future. And there's a lot of talk here about Xbox Game Pass. So I'm going to throw up the report on screen so you guys can read along with me, and we'll discuss it at length because there's a lot here to really digest. And to be honest, a lot of this stuff, if you've been watching my channel for some time, you're already going to know about this. I've been talking about this stuff for quite a while, so it's nice to see some of my stuff that I've been saying be validated here. So he goes on to say that Microsoft views the Xbox Game Pass, which now includes first-party titles, as a compelling value to consumers at $9.99 per month. I completely agree with that. I think Game Pass is pretty damn amazing, although I really hope that the quality of their first-party games improves. Sea of Thieves and State of Decay really weren't my thing. I hope Crackdown 3 is good. Forza Horizon 4 is great. So hopefully the quality of the content going into Game Pass improves as we go on. He goes on to say that Xbox Game Pass can also help to drive monetization for smaller third-party titles that would otherwise garner little attention relative to their much larger peers. I mean, that's pretty self-explanatory. The inclusion of Microsoft's new games in the service has resulted in a lift to the overall retail sales of those titles, as a key point of friction to gameplay has been removed. Now, that's something Phil Spencer has said in a lot of interviews. Basically, a game comes to Game Pass, it gets all these new downloads, people check it out, and even they've seen it with their first-party stuff where the retail sales of those games actually increased because it's almost a form of viral marketing. And a game, there's so many games that come out every single week on Xbox and PlayStation. Some games just get completely buried by other games. But if you put a game in a subscription service that has millions of users, a game that might get overlooked, well, now it might have a chance to thrive, build an audience, things like that. With that said, it doesn't expect to see new AAAs from third-party publishers included in the service anytime soon. Instead, it expects multiple subscription services to emerge over the next couple years, although individual publishers may not have enough breadth to provide a compelling product to consumers. Now, that's a little bit disappointing that Microsoft sees. They're basically saying here that don't expect new AAA games from big third-party publishers to launch day and date in Xbox Game Pass. Understandable, as Phil has said previously, that each one of these publishers have their own businesses to worry about. And quite frankly, I am surprised we haven't seen more subscription services popped up. We have EAs and we have Xboxes. Sony does have PlayStation Now, but I'm surprised we haven't seen a Ubisoft subscription service or a 2K subscription service. And judging by this quote here, Microsoft fully expects more to pop up in the future, and that's maybe one of the reasons why a big AAA won't launch into Game Pass. Now, moving on. In Microsoft's experience, subscription services generally boost gameplay time, engagement, and monetization. Like I said, we talked about that originally. Phil's talked about that. The data, even Matt Piscatella talked about that, the NPD guy. It goes along with saying that that seems to be true. Within Xbox Game Pass, it has seen core gamers who want to consume more content than they otherwise couldn't afford, as well as casual gamers who prefer not to pay $6 upfront for a given title. That's always the case, right? We always want more than we actually can afford. We want to play every single game that comes out, but we may not have the monetary means to do so. But with Game Pass, for $10, you have over 200 games available at your fingertips, so to speak. And that's exactly what Microsoft is saying here. They want all these games, but they can't afford it, so they're going to make it easy for people to subscribe to be able to play that content. Because not everybody has $60 available for all these games. I mean, just next week, for example, we have Far Cry New Dawn, $40, Metro Exodus, $60, Jump Force, $60, Crackdown 3, $60, the week after, Anthem, $60. In March, you have Devil May Cry, you have Division 2, you have Sekiro, all $60. That's a lot of money. For someone who may be a teenager, early 20s, paying for an apartment or whatever, they may not have the disposable income to play it, so Xbox Game Pass would be a godsend to them. Overall, it has seen a boost to net dollars in its video game ecosystem, with more games translating to more hours of gameplay. It intends to bring the subscription service to PCs at some point. Satya Nadella already said that. Phil said that. They're going to bring Game Pass to PC. They really hope, that boosts the PC numbers. Now, moving on, he goes on to say, Microsoft is working on a game streaming service that will deliver console-quality experiences on mobile. Now, this is the xCloud part. We already talked about Game Pass, and I've mentioned before how Game Pass is such a huge thing for Microsoft moving forward. Now we have the other aspect of it, the cloud streaming, another huge thing for Microsoft. According to the company, there are 2 billion gamers worldwide. It believes that a streaming solution needs 3 components to be successful: good content, a strong community, and a robust cloud offering. Now that is pretty important right there. The 3 C's. We've seen Phil talk about that at the AMD keynote earlier this year. He talked about cloud, community, and content. Now, I'm going to focus on the one I think is most important right here, and that's good content. Yes, you need good content. And I remember when I made the video about Xbox Game Pass, when Microsoft said, hey, we're going to put our own games into Game Pass, I said, that's only really going to work if your games are great to good, and if you put it in a timely manner. Now, some of their recent first-party offerings, like I mentioned in the video in the beginning, they aren't really the best. Forza Horizon 4 is absolutely amazing, but the other 2, not so much. Hopefully that changes, and he talks about how it will change potentially in the future later on in this article. But it's pretty interesting. They want a good content for great games going into Game Pass, so you subscribe and stream it to your phone or whatever. A strong community, which is, you got stuff like Mixer, you have Xbox Live community itself, friends and things of that nature to help push those games, getting viral advertising on Xbox Live where people check to see what everybody's doing, and a robust cloud offering. The cloud just has to work. That's the other thing, right? xCloud isn't going to do anything if it doesn't work, and it can't penetrate all these different areas and work with a bunch of different data plans. It needs to work, it needs to be seamless, and it needs to be kind of cheap. Goes on to say, it has termed these 3 items as the 3 C's. It envisions a scenario where it can eventually deliver games to consumers who don't own a console, and believes that cloud gaming is closer to being a reality than it has in the past. A successful streaming provider needs a regional footprint with scale to drive efficiencies for the provider and the consumer. Now, I think the idea here that Microsoft wants to sell Xbox games to people who don't own a console, clearly that's the case. They have Xbox Play Anywhere. That was kind of the first step in that, where you could, if you have a PC, you can buy Xbox games, use Xbox Live on your PC without the need for the console. That kind of started the conversation. Now we're talking about game streaming, Xbox Live going to Switch, which I'll have a video out fairly soon about that. Clearly, the console is for the console players. It's one part of their market or one part of the strategy. Then you have the PC, then you have mobile, Microsoft just wants you in Xbox Live. They want you subscribed to Game Pass. They want you using their services. That is the way it's going to be, and it's what I've said it's going to be for quite some time. Microsoft's motto is basically bring your games to where the consumers are. It used to be bring the consumers to you, but Microsoft under Satya has kind of changed their philosophy. And because of that, they're one of the most successful and, richest companies in the world. You don't really need to bring people to you through Xbox consoles. You just need to go where the people are. And of course, that requires good content, strong community, and a robust cloud offering. All those things that we had talked about. Now, here's where it kind of gets really interesting if you're just interested in the console perspective about the games, right? Microsoft believes that its new studios will help it achieve a primary goal, the delivery of one AAA game per quarter in order to drive Xbox Game Pass. With that said, it does not want to rush its new studios into delivering games before they are fully baked, and believes that any acquisition takes time to get its leg. Its ideal acquisition targets have proven content and strong development teams. Now that's the thing. To have good content, you need great developers. Problem is, Microsoft their first party has been very lacking the last few years. So what do? They go out, they build a brand new studio, hire great talent there. They buy 6 other studios, all with the idea of making games for Xbox Game Pass, for the Xbox Cloud, for console, and for PC. And as the investor says here, as Microsoft told him, that Microsoft's goal is to have one AAA quality game per quarter in order to help drive subscriptions and keep people subscribed to Xbox Game Pass. So if you're an Xbox gamer, that should be the most important thing to use. That Microsoft envisions a scenario where they're putting out at least one high quality game every single quarter. Now, what is a AAA game? How is that defined? Is something like Super Lucky's Tale AAA? Is something like Crackdown 3 AAA? I'm not really sure, and I'm not really sure if they're talking strictly only about their first-party studios. This also maybe have to do with, like third-party. If third-party puts a big AAA game into Xbox Game Pass. But we've known that them buying these new studios was with the eye of having more content, so you can have a steady stream of great titles in the Game Pass to keep people subscribed, to want to be able to use xCloud, all that stuff, right? I mean, if you've been listening to the channel, you know exactly how this all pans out, because I've been saying it for a long time. And he said that Microsoft acknowledged that it's developing a new console, but timing is uncertain. Yeah, we all know new consoles are coming end of 2020, middle of 2020, no surprise there. Now, he did also talk about PlayStation, but I'm going to have a separate video about that probably tomorrow or the next day. So I wanted to focus on each individual platform and what they're going for. Because when you listen to both videos back to back, you're going to definitely see a change, or at least how the outlook is different for each one, how Microsoft views gaming and what they're going for versus how Sony views gaming and what they're going for. So there you go, guys. Microsoft's future involves a lot of Xbox Game Pass, xCloud, going to Nintendo Switch, iOS, all that good stuff. Microsoft buying all these new studios to provide content for you, and how they want to deliver one AAA game per quarter to their users. Anyways, guys, that's the video. Hope you really enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to leave a comment below and hit that like button. Make sure to hit that share button so you can share this out with a friend on Twitter or Facebook. I'd appreciate it. If you're new here, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. And right next to that little subscribe button is a bell. It's a notification bell. Hit that if you always want to be notified immediately when I drop new content. Thank you guys so much for watching. I greatly appreciate it. And I'll see everybody in the next video. Later, guys.